Japanese people have a sense that God dwells in everything in their daily lives. The majestic mountains I visited had the power to make one feel the presence of God even more strongly. It was not only kindness, but also severity. It was frightening to venture so easily into the realm of the divine, and there were times when I had to turn back. The hot springs I arrived at washed away all the fatigue of the day. Some of this video is just moving around and you may get bored, but if so, it's convenient to skip along the chapters. It is now 8 in the morning. It is a 1-hour trip by express train from Osaka Abenobashi Station on the Kintetsu line. My destination is a place called Tenkawa Village. Tenkawa Village is located in the central part of the Kii Peninsula and is surrounded by the Omine Mountains. Today, I am going to a hot spring resort in Tenkawa Village called Dorogawa Onsen. The nearest station is Shimoichiguchi Station. From here, it is a 1-hour bus ride. Buses are quite infrequent, so you need to plan your trip accordingly. Today, the bus was 15 minutes late in arriving due to snow. The bus company is very safety conscious. The bus driver takes us to Dorogawa Onsen. He explained that he might wrap chains around our tires on the way, which might further delay our arrival. This driver introduced us to some tourist attractions and scenic spots along the way. He also explained about the school we passed and how the junior high school and elementary school had merged. Tenkawa Village is a small village with a population of about 1,200. In depopulated areas in Japan, it is common for schools to merge. Although Tenkawa Village has a small population, 60,000 tourists visit the village annually. Compared to the center of Nara, the temperature in Tenkawa Village is 3 to 5 degrees Celsius lower, making it easy to spend time in summer and enjoy the snowy landscape in winter. Tenkawa Village has a rich history and its hidden history of deep involvement with Shugendo, founded by Enno Gyoja more than 1,300 years ago, and with central figures in national politics, has been handed down as local folklore. Shugendo is a uniquely Japanese religion based on mountain worship, blending elements of Buddhism, Shinto, Yin-yang, and shamanism. It regards the mountains as sanctuaries, and by practicing asceticism in the depths of the mountains, it seeks to attain mystical powers and to save oneself and others. The ten in Tenkawa Village refers to the heavens, and the kawa refers to the river, and it is believed that deities are born and live in the rivers and valleys in this area. We are waiting at the traffic light in front of the new Kawakami Shrine. This shrine has a rich natural landscape with spring water, waterfalls, large 1,000-year-old trees, and black and white horses. Today, the black horse seemed to be inside. Some of the trees in this area were left down by a typhoon 8 years ago. Several utility poles also fell and are now being replaced with new ones. The driver tells us that there was a robbery at the post office near here about 5 months before this video. It has actually been in the news. However, it is not every day that a robbery occurs in such a peaceful village, and the villagers must have been very surprised. We enter the tunnel. Is it just me, or is it exciting to go through a tunnel? The driver was just radioed and told that there is no need to wrap snow chains around the bus tires. The driver said that once through the tunnel, the scenery changes. What kind of scenery is there? The passengers cheered. The other passengers seemed to be coming from the urban areas such as Osaka and Nara, so it was rare for them to see such a snowy landscape. The bus terminates at the Dorogawa Onsen bus stop, but I plan to get off one stop earlier and walk to the hot spring resort. I press the get off button to get off at the next bus stop. The driver told me to be careful when getting off because the next bus stop was on the slope. Since the outside temperature was -2 degrees Celsius, the ground might be frozen. Right in front of the bus stop is the Tenkawa Village Tourist Information Center. A woman there approached me. She said that today is the snowiest day of the winter and that she does not recommend walking to the hot spring resort. She told me that I should either go sightseeing for a bit and then return to this bus stop and wait for the next bus, or call the inn on the way and have them pick me up. I decided to do a little sightseeing and have the inn staff pick me up on the way. Where I am heading now is a place called Mitarai Gorge. It says that a 30-minute walk along a promenade will take you to a spectacular viewpoint, so I am walking there now. However, I suddenly encountered a thrilling suspension bridge. There seems to be a slight difference from my image of the word promenade. It seems steeper than I expected. On top of that, the snow and icy conditions make my feet slippery. So 30 minutes is not enough time to reach the gorge. Walking on the snow-covered boards is slippery, so I decided to walk on the netting on the side, but that is scary. I managed to cross the suspension bridge. It said that Mitarai Gorge was 2.4 kilometers ahead. Since it was Sunday, I assumed that there would be a good number of people out there, but I was getting worried because there were so few people out there. I do not usually make requests to God, but on this particular day, I had no choice but to pray for safety. This appears to be the entrance to Mitarai Gorge. I have a bad feeling about this. It is -2 degrees Celsius outside. Snow is falling and snow is falling from the trees, so I move forward with an umbrella. It is difficult to discern which areas are frozen, so move forward carefully. After a while, I reached a bridge that was only wide enough for one person. I was reluctant to cross it, but I was also afraid to turn back, so I continued on. The handrails are only knee-high and the trees are leaning over, so that a slight loss of balance could result in a fall. The river of Mitarai Gorge is now in sight. The water quality contains ions derived from calcium carbonate, giving it emerald green glow. The natural water of Tenkawa village is very refreshing and tasty, and there are facilities where visitors can draw water from the spring. It is used and served in various dishes such as tofu and coffee. Spring water can be drawn freely if you bring your own container. There are several legends about the Mitarai Valley. A long time ago, there lived a woman of good character in Tenkawa village. Many men in the village came to court her, and she fell in love with one of them and carried his child. Since the man always left before sunlight, the woman, who was curious about the man, gently inserted a needle with a red thread tied to his kimono and followed the thread in the morning. The thread led her to a deep ravine where she found a dead serpent with a needle in it. Since then, the man never appeared again, and the woman gave birth to a child in disappointment. The child was the child of a serpent. It is also said that emperors of old purified their hands to pray for victory in battle. Since Mitarai means to purify one's hands, it is said to be the origin of the name Mitarai Gorge. I arrived at Mitarai Gorge. According to the tourist map, it takes about 30 minutes to get there, but it took me about 60 minutes because the road and bridge were icy. I think it takes about 30 minutes when the weather conditions are good. The area has a parking lot, rest areas, toilets, stores, and restaurants. People visiting by car were taking a rest and enjoying the scenery. In winter, it is said to be off-season, so only the parking lot, restrooms, and vending machines were available. According to the tourist map, it would take 2 hours to reach the Onsen Resort from here. In today's weather conditions, it would take at least 4 hours. If I let my guard down a little, my feet would slip and I would fall over on the way down the stairs. The moment I thought, this place is dangerous, so let's be careful. I was sliding down the stairs. My clothes were covered with snow, and I was soaking wet from the melting snow. I am inclined to continue on my own feet. I decided to ask the ryokan to pick me up. They drove me to the ryokan where I had made a reservation. I had injured my foot, so the innkeeper gave me ice and compresses. Also, since my clothes were wet, they let me into my room a little early as a special treat. The room was very warm and had a kotatsu. I rested a bit in my room while I dried my wet clothes. The walk to the gorge was very nerve-wracking, and before I knew it, I was asleep. I woke up a short while later and decided to explore the Dorogawa Onsen area until dinner at 6 p.m. According to the Dorogawa Onsen website, Dorogawa Onsen Resort is a mountain village located at an altitude of about 820 meters above sea level. The cool climate makes it a popular summer resort. The town has a nostalgic, time-slip atmosphere with more than 20 ryokan and minshuku inns. There are more than 20 inns and guest houses, 13 souvenir stores, and various stores. The ryokan seen on both sides is the ryokan where I am staying this time. It seems that they have been running the inn since at least the Edo period. The current building was built 70 years ago, but it is well maintained and very clean. Many of the inns in this area are said to have open veranda facing the street. They have a wide entrance so that a group of people who have walked up the mountain for training can take off their shoes at once and go up to the inn. In fact, Dorogawa Onsen is also said to be the home of the descendants of demons. A long time ago, a demon who was misbehaving was caught by a sorcerer named Enno Gyoja. Later, the demon reformed and became a disciple of Enno Gyoja, taking care of the ascetics and guiding them along the way. For this reason, it is sometimes called Demon Onsen, even today. In the Dorogawa Onsen area, there is a spring called Goro Goro Water, and I plan to go there the next morning to draw water from the spring. It is a shrine with Totoro. I tried to find out why Totoro welcomes us, but was not sure. It is said that there is a famous shrine in Kyushu, Japan, where Totoro is praised. Perhaps it is because the shrine was in a Ghibli animation or for some other reason. It is almost time for dinner, so I return to the inn. They prepared Sukiyaki of Nara's local chicken. First, I quench my thirst with warm tea. Fresh chickens and colorful vegetables are added to the hot pot. While the sukiyaki is simmering, sashimi and other side dishes are served. The cold body is warmed from the core, not only because of the warm food, but also because the hospitality of the people at the inn feels very warm. It is 6:30 in the morning. Since breakfast is served at 7:30 a.m., I will take a short stroll until then. I am going to visit a suspension bridge called Karigane Bridge, which commands a panoramic view of the Dorogawa Onsen Resort. People in Tenkawa village call the natural treasure, swallow, Karigane. The suspension bridge is named Karigane Bridge because of the graceful flight of Karigane. At 50 meters high and 120 meters long, it is the longest suspension bridge in Tenkawa village. Karigane Bridge comes into view. There is snow on the bridge and it may be frozen. I must be careful not to fall down again. It seems less slippery than I expected. There are fences at both ends, so although I know it is safe, I feel that the suspension bridge is scary. The sunrise on this day is at 6:51 a.m., but we are surrounded by mountains. I think the sun will actually be visible from this location at around 7:15. I gave up on watching the sunrise because I would not be able to make it in time for breakfast. However, I was able to see the east side of the mountain getting a little brighter. Although it was just in time, I paid a visit to Ryusenji Temple before returning to the ryokan. It is also thanks to God that they led me safely to the ryokan yesterday. Breakfast is also very satisfying with very hot rice and miso soup. As with the dinner, the breakfast was so large that I could not eat it all by myself. I had raw egg over rice mixed with soy sauce. Coffee after breakfast is self-service. After a short rest, I checked out and went to fetch water from the spring called Gorogoro water. Gorogoro water is said to spring from the vicinity of the nearby limestone caves. The water is of an extremely natural calcium carbonate type, and because it is the ninth highest spring water in Japan. The water temperature is extremely cold at 10.4 degrees Celsius. The name Gorogoro water is said to have come from the sound of pebbles rolling down from the depths of the cave as Enno Gyoja descended from Omine mountain to take a drink of water at this spot. After about a 10-minute walk from the onsen area, I arrived at Gorogoro Water Sampling Station. Locals seem to come by car and pay 500 yen to fetch water. People are fetching water for several 20-liter bottles. Since I was not driving and just wanted to fetch a bottle of water, I asked the facility staff and fetched water for free. A cafe is attached to the water collection site, where visitors can enjoy coffee made from goro goro water and dessert made from goro goro water. It's now 9:15. There is a bus to Shimoichiguchi Station at 11:25 a.m. If I miss it, the next bus will be at 4 p.m. I need to pay attention to the time. There are still 2 hours to go, so I am heading to a place called Menfudo Limestone Cave, located near the entrance to the Dorogawa Onsen Resort area. I checked the location of the bus stop. Menfudo Cave is located on top of a mountain. Also, it can be climbed on foot. You can also take the monorail to the top in 5 minutes. It is a 50-meter walk to the monorail stop. I bought a 500 yen round-trip monorail ticket in cash. After purchasing the ticket, press the intercom next to the ticket machine to have the monorail drop you off at the bottom. The grade is nearly 20 degrees. Going up, it must be about 30 degrees. The monorail consists of 4 cars, each carrying 4 passengers. I heard that summer is the high season in Dorogawa Onsen, and there is a line of people waiting for their turn to ride the monorail. But today, I have the monorail all to myself. I arrived at Menfudo Limestone Cave. I purchased the admission ticket to the limestone cave and entered the cave. There is also a cafe at the entrance to the cave, where visitors can enjoy a cup of coffee while taking in a panoramic view. From here, a journey of about 280 meters through the caves begins. This area was originally an area of hydrothermal rock containing limestone, which has been eroded, weathered, and deposited over many years to form a karst landscape. The carbon dioxide contained in the rainwater that fell there dissolved the cracks in the limestone rocks, gradually creating large cavities that form the Bell Nipple Caves. It is said to take 100 to 200 years for a bell millstone to grow 1 centimeter, showing us a passage of time that humans cannot experience. The cave is windless, and the average temperature is 8 degrees Celsius throughout the year, making it extremely cool in the summer and warm in the winter. I am back in Dorogawa Onsen Resort. It is about 10:30 now. I have an hour before the bus leaves, so I take a break at a coffee shop. The owner of this coffee specialty store is particular about the way he brews his coffee. If you tell him what flavor you prefer, he will adjust the taste of the coffee at will. From Shimoichiguchi Station, I decided to return home on Kintetsu Blue Symphony Limited Express train. The fare is 730 yen in addition to the regular fare, so please take advantage of this service for a special trip. The Blue Symphony also has a restaurant car, and I ordered a strawberry cake and coffee to eat at my seat. I also received a commemorative boarding pass. This seems to be a postcard. This channel is still a featuring channel, but I hope to create videos that make you feel like you are on a journey, just by watching or listening to them. Thank you for watching.